There are one or two things I'm going to do in this half that Channel 4 won't let me do on television without putting a warning up on the screen, but I am allowed to do them in the theatre. Okay, I'm going to try and get this up in the dress circle. When you get it, will you throw it back for me? Not back down here, but back up in the dress circle to somebody else, all right? Here it comes. Right, throw it up there again, not down here, just back up to somebody else up there, please. And I'm going to take the nearest guy, wherever it lands. Nearest guy, would you stand up for me, please? What's your name? Stephen. Stephen, what are you wearing on your feet? Boots. Boots, fantastic. Please leave the monkey where it is. Stephen, head down here as quickly as you can. Stephen, everybody, thank you very much. And from downstairs, I need a lady who is medically trained, So would you stand up for me? Just if you're medically trained, would you stand up for me? What's your name, lady in the front? Ruth, what do you do, Ruth? Physiotherapist. Physiotherapist, thank you. Stay right there for me. Lady behind me, what's your name? Amy. Amy, what do you do, Amy?
Cabin crew.
Cabin crew. Ruth, I think I will go with you, Ruth, if that's all right. So, Ruth, could you head up here? A round of applause for Ruth. Thank you very much, Ruth. Ruth and Stephen. Stephen, thank you so much. Thank you for coming down. I appreciate it. Thank you. Stay right there for me. Thank you so much. Would you both follow me around the back here, please? Thank you. And if you can stand there for me, Stephen, just turn and face that way. That's great, Stephen. Ruth, you can come around here, please. Mind the hammer, mind the cable. Just stand there for me and face out that way for me too. That's great. Pain is very subjective. It's a subjective thing. Like when you're young and you tear around influential and you cut yourself and you don't realize that you're cut until you look down and you see the blood and then suddenly it starts to hurt. Or when you're in the bath and you've got your feet stuck out and there's hot water dripping on your toe and you don't know it's the hot tap, you think it's the cold tap. Suddenly when you look down and see it's the hot tap, suddenly it's scalding hot. Pain is very subjective. Okay, we're going to break some more glass. Ruth and Stephen, I need you to check these are real bottles. Would you please do that for me? When you're happy that's real glass and real bottles, you can just place them, stand them on the floor in front of you. When you've done that, I'd like you to put these goggles on for me. And then I'd like you to place the gloves on for me too. It's just red wine stains on that, Stephen, you'll be fine. Okay, you're right-handed, aren't you? So if you can crouch down for me, Ruth, and with your left hand, I'd like you to take hold of the neck of the bottle through the towel. So like that, thank you. You're right-handed as well. If you can crouch down for me. Same thing. Left hand around the neck of the bottle, like that for me. Thank you, Stephen. All right. There's the hammer, Ruth. I need you to bring it down, break the bottle into small pieces. You have to go really hard, right in the middle. Go. That's fantastic. You want to give it one more, or are you happy with that? Are you going to stand up for me? Stephen, there you go. Nice and hard, please. Fantastic. Stand up for me too, Stephen. Thank you. Okay. Now this is all a bit pointless if you think I'm using fake glass, and you'd be forgiven for that because this is often done with fake glass. So I'm going to ask you both, starting with you, Ruth, if you can just step forward, Ruth, onto the tarpaulin for me. Now please don't kneel, but if you can just crouch down and pick up a couple of pieces of glass. You're the eyes of the audience here. Have a look at them for me. Is it real glass?
Yes.
And the edges haven't been rounded down or anything like that?
No.
And sharp edges too, yes? Are you happy with this?
Yeah.
All right, do you want to just place them back in the pile for me? Thank you so much. If you can just drop place the gloves and goggles back in that bucket nearest you, that'd be great. Stephen, if you're happy to, I'd love you to take these gloves off and pick up a piece in your bare hand so people know that it really is real, all right? But you'll be careful, yes? Thank you. So just a single piece or a couple of pieces. Okay, is that real glass?
Yeah.
All right, are you happy this is real? Do you want to keep checking, or are you happy? Please be careful.
Yeah, I'm happy.
You're happy? Show me your hands. Show me your hands. Great, thank you. Take the goggles off now. I'll take them back from you, Stephen. Thank you. Thank you. See, there are tools and techniques that I've taken on board and made part of who I am, which go back through a tradition of performers who had their heyday in the 1930s. And these are very diverse people. These are vaudevillians and fakirs. And there was one man around that time who went under the name of the Great Prestoni. That was the name that he used. And what Prestoni did, no one has done since him. Prestoni was able to cut off the oxygen to his brain, and it allowed him to achieve two things. First of all, he could be cut, and he wouldn't bleed because it affected the flow of blood throughout his whole body. And secondly, he could withstand massive amounts of pain in relative comfort. And Prestoni was one of a tiny handful of people in history that have done this using real glass. And I became obsessed with this man. I studied everything I could to do them. I spent time with his two daughters that he taught his act to, and they taught it to me. And for me, it's an honor, genuinely, to be able to perform this in such a prestigious theatre. Prestoni died a drug addict and an alcoholic. Because that state that he put himself into, it's called cerebral anoxia. It's a lack of oxygen to the brain. It's incredibly addictive. And I shouldn't say this, when you come out of it, it's euphoric. Then that can lead to an addictive personality, which is ultimately why Prestoni died in the way that he did. Ruth, would you come around here for me? Come around this side. Ruth, this is not the nicest job in the world, but I need you to check my feet, all right? I need you to check that there's no special skin or anything attached to them. I'm sorry, it's very warm.
No, just nice, sweaty feet.
Thank you, yeah, I apologise for that. But nothing attached, the skin hasn't been toughened or anything like that?
No, it's quite soft.
Thank you, thank you. Would you come and check the other one? I think you'll find this one even softer.
That's
Real feet?
beautiful.
Thank you. Let's do with that. Real feet. Happy?
Real feet, yeah.
Great, could you come back round here for me? I'm going to ask you to take that drumstick just out of the bag there for me. I'll let you do that. Actually, first of all, I'm going to ask you to take my pulse. If you take the pulse with your right hand here, and then with your left hand to tap out the pulse that you feel on the end of the mic with the drumstick. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, fairly comfortable with that?
Yeah.
Does it seem a little fast or quite relaxed?
No,
or?
quite regular.
Quite regular, great, okay. So in order to do this and to put myself into the state that Prestoni would, I'm going to put a plastic bag over my head. Would you take the bag off for me, Ruth? So look, I'm not going to suffocate, thank you, because I'll be holding onto the bag, all right? So if I did pass out, air would come up into the bag and I'd be fine, all right? So if you were just as a nurse or as a physiotherapist, please resist the urge to pull the bag back off my head. As we do this, I want you to carry on taking my pulse, all right?
Yeah.
Now the point is the pulse should change. It's really important that you accurately reflect on that, what you feel in my arm, all right? Can you feel anything? Tap it out on the mic. Wait till you feel it kicking. Get ready. Yeah? Yeah? Good. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you, Ruth. Let me take that from you. Ruth, everybody. Ruth and Stephen, thank you very much. Can I ask you to go back that way from me? Stephen, everybody. Thank you.